Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to POW PALS with your hosts, Alan
and Jake.
And we are so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for being with us. If you didn't watch the first episode, go ahead and watch it or listen to it.
Yeah.
Where all podcasts and videos are streamed. We're excited to be here again. My name is Alan. This is my friend Jake. Just a recap from last week. We both work in ministry.
Yep.
But we're also super geeky and nerdy, and we love comic books and movies.
Hey, don't call me that.
What?
I'm just kidding. I am geeky.
Don't call.
Don't call me that.
I thought you were serious for a second. I said, "This is what our podcast."
What did I call you? What did I call you? Do we need to stop recording?
So we're so excited that you're here. We're gonna be talking about some stuff and then reading scripture and just hopefully teaching ourselves something about God and nerd culture, and teaching you something about God and nerd culture. We're by no means like knowledgeable on all fronts, but we just love.
We like diving into
just love it. Yeah.
into the Bible and diving into comic books.
That's it. We like to dive. Okay, here we go. So the first off, I want to ask you, Jake, what have you read recently, comic book wise?
Well, I've read a lot recently. The one that I've been trying to get caught up on because I feel like there's two main staples in there's like one for DC, one for Marvel.
Agreed.
If I were to say what's the main staple for DC, what would you say?
Batman.
Yeah, it's Batman. 100%. And I read all of the Batman comics. I'm caught up. But in Marvel, there is also another one, and I have not been caught up, and that is Amazing Spider-Man.
Ooh.
So
even I haven't read that yet.
So I basically read their most recent huge
the recent adaptation of it, because there was Amazing Spider-Man before.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
For years and years and years.
Right. That's where Miles Morales came out of.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
He came out of Ultimate. Didn't he come out of Ultimate?
That's
Spider-Man.
Yeah, so
that's the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, so that's Amazing Spider-Man. So there was Spider-Man in 616,
Yep.
and then Amazing Spider-Man in the Ultimate Universe, and that's where Miles came out of, because that's where Peter died.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so so obviously I haven't read all of
no worries,
Amazing Spider-Man.
I'm not caught up on the new one.
So I read from issue 50 to issue 55, and then there's like an Otherworld LR book that is coinciding with it, just telling the opposite side with all of his disciples, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So Doctor Strange is actually in it, and it's awesome. They deal with the astral plane.
In a Spider-Man book?
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So the main villain, I'm gonna forget. But the main villain. Do you want me to just spoil it for you? Okay.
Go for it. Yeah.
Harry is the main villain.
Okay.
Harry Osborn, and it's super interesting. Like it's a totally different character. Kindred, that's what his name is.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he's like this mummy-looking guy that can. I don't know. The problem is I need to look up how he got his powers and stuff, because he can.
This is Harry.
Harry, yes. Yes, he has.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he which coincides with the Bible, he recommissions a guy called Sin Eater. Have you ever heard of him?
Oh, no. I have no idea. I see. I'm so unknowledgeable about this.
Yeah, so Kindred basically is the devil. That's what the Sin Eater, who's like an old Spider-Man character.
Okay.
He basically is this psycho that judges people on their sins and kills them for it.
Oh my!
So he has this shotgun that can take away your sins.
Yo.
So he uses it on Norman Osborn, and like, dude, it's pretty sick.
That's funny.
But the crazy thing that he does, Kindred can somehow like kill and then bring them back to life. So he did that like 20 times to Peter.
Okay.
And you just see, like, it's graphic, like seeing Peter die and then come back to life, and then he kills him by snapping his back and then brings him back to life, and it's like, whew.
What?
Yeah, the artwork is amazing.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, who does the art?
That's a great question. I don't know.
No, that's okay. Wow, I've never heard of that character before. Sin Eater. Isn't that crazy though? Like, I guess the huge difference is that, someone can take, like, the devil can take you out for your sins, Jesus uses it to redeem you.
Yeah.
Dang, that's good stuff.
Well, the way that he used it, he said, dying is easy.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you can take it and make it deeper. Like, legit, for
No, it
us
is.
to actually die, like, that's not hard.
It's true.
But as far as living and stuff, that's where it's, you know, stopping other people from dying.
Yeah.
Maybe not stopping, but like giving them a purpose, if you will. That's what our purpose is.
In Hamilton, one thing that George Washington tells Alexander Hamilton is dying is easy, young man. Living is harder. And that reminds me of that because it's easy for you to throw your life away. It's easy for you to just like, Sarah and I are watching this show called 1,000-Pound Sisters, and the older sister.
Are they actually 1,000 pounds?
Together they are.
Oh, so they're
like they
wow.
equal 1,000 pounds. So one of the sisters is, her name is Tammy, the older one, and she they both have food addictions, but the younger sister is taming it, while the older continues to grow bigger.
Yeah.
And she often says like, I just want to give up. I just want to give up.
Yeah.
That's the easy way out.
Yeah.
But the younger sister is like continuing to like fulfill her diet. Like even though she's tempted with so much, you know, foods and things like that,
Sure.
like she's still, so that, yeah, that's crazy.
The writer is Nick Spencer,
Nice.
and the artist is Patrick Gleason.
That's Nick Spencer's really good.
Dude, it's been amazing. I want to go back and read all of the older stuff because I like the way that he writes. And it's, I don't know, it's just interesting.
Wow, awesome.
I recommend reading it.
I'll
So
have to-
what are you reading right now? What is...
Yeah, dude. I recently read because I'm trying to catch up with like the King in Black stuff, but I love X-Men. Like if anything, Marvel for me has been up and down. Only because there's some seasons in Marvel where their stories just aren't as good,
Yeah.
and then I revert back to like reading DC stuff. But
Yeah.
right now, I'm trying to read X-Men. I read Ten of Swords, but then out of that, the latest thing I read was Marauders. And
I've heard it's really good.
It's really good.
I haven't read it though.
I just love. So the recent issue dealt with humanitarian stuff. It dealt with with like slavery and it's really interesting. And Magneto actually like had a turning point in his career where he actually allowed, this is spoilers for you guys, he actually allowed some he told the council to allow some of these humans into Krakoa, right? And so and which is actually banned. There's only ever been 2 people who lived in Krakoa.
What is Krakoa?
So Krakoa is this new promised land for mutants, where all the mutants that Scarlet Witch basically eliminated from House of M, they resurrected, and so now there's this. It's almost like this whole. It's this literally this whole country, just full of mutants, and they're secluded and they're isolated, and they have governments and things like that,
And they're dangerous.
And they're dangerous, but they have they have like forces. They have like different teams, like the Marauders, and the Marauders' job for King in Black was to go find Cyclops because he's venomized right now, or nullified or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
But anyway, long story short, they come across the ship. There's human trafficking going on. They're like, these humans have nowhere to go, and so they try. So Kitty Pryde convinces Magneto, hey, let's let him on the island for like a couple days, whatever. Yeah. He actually lets him on an island, and then he has this conversation with this girl who's human, and she's like, what's going on? Why are you letting us on here? Like we're just like, we're refugees. Like we're humans. Like you guys hate us. Like you hate us. Like you in your history has hated us. And then this great turning point for Magneto. He says, this is our promised land here. He didn't say those words. He didn't write those words. But this is our promised land, and I've noticed that it's not just a promised land for mutants, but it's for it's a sanctuary for everybody. And so he's like, I may have hated you in the past, but this is this is what I think we should be doing now. And I just love that. I just love that interaction with, if anything out of that comic book, that's the one thing that I realize is like, you know, we have to share how we were saved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I continue to, like, I'm convicting myself because I'm on social media a lot.
Yep.
And I'm always,
as we all are.
Always we all are. And I'm always talking about, I've realized I'm like, why am I, all my posts are about God and Jesus lately. And I'm like, oh, it's because I've been saved so much just in this year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't not talk about God. I can't not talk about I can't not be passionate about how much he saved me, you know?
That's what's interesting for me because this is just me talking out loud and thinking out loud.
Amen.
So
go ahead.
For me, my past is not really like I have things that I'm ashamed of, obviously, but I never had like a drug addiction where I should be dead or like, because the people that have been through that, there's a certain kind of strength to it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why, and I don't want to speak for John, but I think that's why John is so passionate about it. John is our preacher at our church. And I think that's why he's, not that he had been on drugs and like almost died, but because
you're right. No, he did though.
He's been through the worst and Jesus saved him.
Yeah.
And he feels like he has this secret that he needs to share with other people.
Yeah.
And that he was saved. So he wants to, like, if he sees somebody and if he sees somebody that he can be like share the news with, then it's a passionate personal thing with him.
Yeah, bro.
And with me, I feel like it's not that easy because not that I wasn't saved, of course I was, but I was never to a lowest point where it's a personal like secret that saved me and I need to tell other people. It's a struggle because I've been in this like I don't even know. It's like it's not bliss, but I've been in this
Like
pretty good life. Yeah,
It's
pretty
even.
good life for my whole life. So there's been struggles. Everyone has struggles, but as far as like I should be dead.
Yeah.
I need to go tell people about this.
Right.
It's never been that.
Right.
So that's where my struggles come in with like, how do I get so passionate about it that I can in turn have that same feeling for other people?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's a struggle, but I want to continue to grow towards that. Like,
yeah. That's good, Jake. You know, I want to, the thing that I want to say about that is that, you know, Jesus uses all people and he does use the broken.
Yeah.
Like he absolutely uses the broken. That's the reason why all the, most of the disciples were broken.
Yeah.
But there were also fishermen there who they don't have any accounts of like, they just, for as far as past goes.
Yeah.
It sounds like to me, when I read scripture, it sounds like to me that like some of those guys were just working.
We're just normal guys.
We're just normal dudes.
Yeah.
And so I think the passion comes from what we always say here at this church is the dinner table and the relationship, right? It's not about you being even. It's about like when you talk to people like myself, talk like to people like John, who have been through like a almost near death thing, and you're like, you start to empathize with people.
Oh, 100%.
And it's like we have this thing called Block Ministries where there are these people who are just like off the streets, like looking for a home, and people in prostitution who are just like looking for a place to be, and it's hearing their stories that you're like, how can I not love on them, and how can I not teach them about Jesus? And I think that like that comes with time, and what I've learned is that like everything with faith. I'm saying everything with faith comes with practice.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, absolutely.
1,000% practice. Like that's why they say practice your faith. When you practice your faith.
You know what the problem is though? It is absolutely practicing. But the issue is, and this is me speaking for myself, and I know other people feel the same way about this. Yeah. But it comes when you don't have that passion because you live through it. it turns to laziness.
Yeah.
Because you don't. Yes, I've heard story. My best friend Josh has been through. He's been homeless. I've heard all of his stories.
Yeah.
You know, I've told stories. A little bit more about me. I am the story guy at the church. Like I tell stories.
Story guy, yeah.
But it's still not personal for me. Yes, I can hear all the stories and watch all the movies but I've never had that experience. And yes, I can try to understand what people have been through, but that's where practicing comes in and actually going out and doing things. And I feel like the past year, I've been super convicted in trying to do more of those things because that's where the passion comes from.
Yeah.
The passion doesn't come from me and my experiences, you know, being left on the street, left for dead. And if I don't practice, it turns to laziness. And then you're just like, nah, I'll just go to the church on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm good. Like,
Exactly.
I'll give my $5 a week or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm a Christian. Yeah. So it's always been interesting to me how people like John, like yourself, like my friend Josh, that have been through those things, how it is a passion. You know what I mean? Jesus and God and the Bible and telling people about that is a passion. So that's always interesting to me.
Yeah, and I want to say that also, you like the way I think the way it works is that you have, you know, John tells me this too, that like you have to have a balance.
Yeah.
When I first got here, I was I'm convicting myself. I was annoyed at how complacent people were during worship.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the worshipers here, one of the lead worshipers, and I would look out into the sea of people. And there's a lot of people here. This is a big church.
Yeah.
And I would only see like maybe 5 or 6 people like singing out, right?
Yep.
I come from, Sarah and I come from sort of like a kind of a Pentecostal like background where they're praising and they're yelling, things like that. And so I get convicted because I'm like, why aren't they feeling this? And that's because, you know, there's a lot of people who have had an even sort of life. I don't want to say that you don't have brokenness. You do.
Yeah.
But it's not to a point where like you've had to kneel down at the foot of Jesus and ask for his help, right?
Yeah.
And so I think the balance is the reason why we think about community and things like that is because Jesus surrounded himself with all sorts of people in that same regard. He with even people, with broken people, and even with people who were once like Pharisees, right?
Yeah.
And so you know, I think what God's doing in you, Jake, is that you are telling stories of broken people, and so I think in turn it starts to rev up your ability to empathize.
Yeah.
It revs up your ability to see past like your own complacency, and that's, you know, that's a gift from God that's coming. That's a gift from God to you. You know, you personally.
Yeah.
And I think also too, like, I think for you, what will be like awesome is that like if you want to ask God about this is just me as your brother in Christ. You know, I've often asked God, I'm like make me more passionate about you. Like make me more loving towards you. And that's a dangerous prayer.
Yeah.
Craig Rochelle has a book called Dangerous Prayers, because once you come out of that, he will.
Yeah.
And you know, in my 3 years of my walking with Jesus, even in those 3 years, I've been pushed down into the dirt. But that's because I asked for it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to ask for it.
Yeah.
But I did out of faith. And you know, and I think you're like, it sounds like to me you've got that, and it's like blossoming.
Yeah.
And I want to commend you for that. But you're right though, man. Like,
well, it's nothing to be commended for. It's as Jesus followers, we need to continue to strive to get better and better and learn more and learn more. Otherwise, that's where complacency and laziness and all of that stuff comes in. So, you know, it's what everyone should do.
Yeah. But I also want to tell you, it's with balance, because I've been James, our one of our pastors here, James, our outreach guy, James, he got on me because I was saying in our men's group, I just feel terrible because I don't think I'm doing enough. I'm not learning enough about Jesus. I'm not going to enough groups. I'm not like worshiping enough. And he's like, what do you think that like God's saying that? Why are you letting the devil like convict you of how you're being taught the gospel? Like it's so weird how the devil can use things like that on you. So it's about balance and grace. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's balance always.
Bro.
In every aspect of your life, and relationship is also a balance.
Yeah, man.
So yeah.
That's good, dude. That came out of talking about Magneto. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, Jesus. Wow, that's great. God uses all things. Hey, man. WandaVision episode 5 came out.
Yeah. Let's talk about the whole series so far.
Yes,
not
and
just
then-
episode 5.
Correct. So I'll just go first. My first thoughts are I've always liked the high concept stuff.
Yeah.
Just in general, like in movies, film, books, whatever. I love high concept stuff. And the fact that they started with like an I Love Lucy episode, I was like, Sarah was watching it with me and she's like, this is boring. I said, no, this is art. You know what I mean? Like I was like, this is an art form. Do not. And I knew that like stuff would be revealed later on.
Yeah.
But I wanted to appreciate the fact that they took so much time into replicating an I Love Lucy episode. Like,
well, Marvel has done it for us. I mean, for over 10 years.
So good.
So going into episode 1 and 2, you're like, you know, I'm gonna give them a couple episodes. You know.
Yeah.
After 1 and 2, they showed a little bit.
Yeah.
They showed the helicopter.
Yeah.
They showed the glass breaking in her neighbor's hand and her blood being red.
You got it.
And you also know that she basically rewound time.
Yeah.
So you kind of already knew that she was. By the way, we're gonna spoil.
Oh, spoiler
We're gonna
alert.
spoil this show.
Spoiler
for
alert.
sure.
Yeah. Just edit that in there.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
So you knew that Wanda was controlling
bro.
what's happening in this world,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's exactly.
I love it. I just love that. Like, so I remember. So you and I think his name is Jackson commented on one of my photos about WandaVision, and he was saying like, "Oh, it was boring," and I was like, "Well, that's because you haven't watched enough." To me, that's because you haven't experienced enough Marvel and Marvel formula to be like, "Oh, it's gonna get better." I just know it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just know it's gonna get better. And even then, like, I still loved like all the old stuff.
It's nostalgic.
Yeah.
Like you grew up watching I Love Lucy and all of those older TV shows that had the laugh tracks behind them that was super cheesy and sitcom, like those were the early sitcoms.
Yeah.
And then seeing Wanda and Vision. First off, Vision, this is the most human he's ever looked.
Oh,
by far.
and acted.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
So it's really cool seeing, is it Paul
Bettany.
Bettany. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, man.
It's cool seeing him like actually getting to thrive in this role.
Yes.
And not just be Vision.
Right.
So seeing him as a human,
Yep.
you know, them living a life, the
Emotional. Like, ooh.
him working at the computer store
I
and
love
like,
that.
what is it that we do? Oh, we run numbers. But like, what do? Oh, we crunch numbers for, and it's literally no answer at all. I love that.
I love
it's
it.
hilarious.
Yeah, it's the ambiguity, like the you know, they do have a mystery side to this show.
Yeah.
It's there was this meme that like, you know, showed somebody with like the, you know, the detective like board of like the strings and things like that, and it's like them trying to figure out WandaVision or whatever. And I feel like everyone is doing that. Like the first 4 episodes, everyone's like, okay, well, this is what, you know what I mean? Like they're speculating, and I love the mystery aspect of the show. And I personally am so invested in Wanda. I'm so like, because again, talking about brokenness, like she is a traumatized person, and it is because she's so powerful. It's coming out in this way, like it makes for a great storytelling.
Which let's go back to comics.
Yes.
I actually recently started reading House of M.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Cool.
it's really cool how close, but then how distant the two stories are.
They always do. They always do.
I
that.
know.
Yeah, it's great.
Like her being, because House of M stems from her being like sad
Yes.
and and so does WandaVision.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. We can get to what happens at the end of episode 5, but let's work our way there.
Yeah, it's so yeah. About the 4th episode, they start to reveal what's actually happening, and you get these great interactions with Kat Dennings' character, Jimmy Woo, and then obviously,
which they're talking about. They're pitching a show of Jimmy Woo.
I know, that's so great.
Awesome.
He's great.
He's so good.
I love him. He's really funny. And then obviously, oh gosh, I'm forgetting her name. The daughter, Photon.
I forget
her name.
I forget her name too.
Oh my gosh, she's in Captain Marvel. What's going on with me? Anyway, I love the trio of them, and I love how she, gets firsthand experience of Wanda and things like that, and that's beautiful. But I think that what's really interesting is that it still continues to have this mystery aspect to it, where you start to realize that yes, Vision is being controlled.
Yeah.
But it's not all Wanda either. And so it's you're starting to see that Wanda is controlling a lot, and she is villainous in this show. She is. But there's a mystery. There's an underlying tone behind it. There's something going on that you don't know, and I love exploring it, and I love the way they act. I mean, now they're in 90s sitcoms, which is my favorite era of sitcoms. I love sitcoms, by the way, but that's my favorite era. They've got the Full House style. They've even got twins, and which is a whole nother story.
Well, because she's the sister of Ashley and Mary-Kate Olsen,
exactly,
who is on Full House.
So funny. So funny.
It's Monica Rambeau, by the way.
Monica Rambeau, yes. Yeah. Gosh, why did I not think of that? Monica Rambeau is amazing. She's really good in the show. Both the actress and just the character in general.
Yeah.
I'm excited for her because in the comic book she gets powers. And she becomes Photon. So.
Which she when they mention Carol,
she got a little
Captain Marvel. She was
a little offended.
Yeah, she was like,
well, have you watched Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what that says to me is that either something happened in between the time where she was growing up, from that time of Captain Marvel all the way to now, or she's just really upset that Captain Marvel left.
Yeah.
That one
probably,
time. You know what I mean?
I mean, if we're gonna go that was one of the worst Marvel movies.
Oh my God.
We're not gonna go off on that, but that was.
She was upset that her movie was so bad.
Yeah. she's very meta.
Yeah, she's so meta.
So episode 4 is really cool because you see everything that you saw in the first 3 episodes, but from the outside.
Yes.
So you're getting context.
It.
Yeah, you're getting context.
Yeah.
With the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And you know that Wanda or someone is cutting out the weird things that are happening, and it's just a jump cut.
Yeah.
That story is not showing up on the TV side of things.
Yeah.
So this episode 4 is when it starts rolling, when it starts getting really interested, and now I'm super in. I'm like
super invested.
Okay, now we kind of have an idea of what's happening.
Yeah.
At the end, when she gets basically thrown out by Wanda, Monica Rambeau is like, it's Wanda. Yeah. It's all Wanda.
It's all Wanda. Yeah.
So,
but at the end of episode 5,
there's a lot that happens. We could just
go into it.
There's a lot that happens in episode 5.
Well, let's roll into it because out of what you said, Monica says it's all Wanda, but
before the end of episode 5. Agnes, who I think has a huge part in the show.
Absolutely.
Huge part.
For sure.
When she comes in, she's like, "Oh, do you want to do it again? Do you want to take it again?"
Yeah.
There's something weird happening with her.
It sounds
There's also something weird happening with the mailman.
Yeah.
The mailman is also in with Agnes on something.
There's something happening with all of those characters.
True.
There's something going on in general.
Yeah.
With every one of those characters.
Yeah, her neighbor wanted to tell her something.
Yeah. Wanted to tell Vision something.
Yeah. But you think the neighbor's not in with Agatha, because I think the neighbor is just one of the people that lives in the town. Or Agnes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agnes is the only one that didn't have someone cast.
Yep.
Quote unquote, the way cast.
Yep.
The way they're, in the show. And there's a lot of little clues though especially at the end of the episode where Wanda's like, do you think I'm controlling all this? Like, do you think, like, even I don't know how this all started.
Yeah.
And so there's something going on where, yes, Wanda has the control of like the world itself, but the starting point, that's a different mystery on its own. Like, there's something going on. And Agnes, especially in this episode, she seems empathetic towards it.
Yeah.
Like she comes in, she plays her role, but the I made a TikTok about this. But when the dog dies, she's carrying the dog. The kids are asking Wanda, hey, can you resurrect our dog? He's family. And Wanda says, even I can't do that. And then Agnes was like, she's like, wait, you can do that?
Which she can because she brought Vision back to life. Or maybe she wasn't the one that brought Vision back to life.
Correct. I said that on my TikTok. I said I don't believe that Wanda did.
Well, you know who the rumored villain of this
is? It Mephisto? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's
who. If we're gonna dive into Christianity in the Marvel universe or in DC or in comics in general, they call him the devil.
The devil.
He is the devil incarnate. Like they called him Mephisto because Stan Lee. I actually was watching a video on it the other day. They call him Mephisto because Stan Lee didn't think that he didn't want any specific religion to rule his comics. So he didn't call him the devil. But there's a lot of different instances where he is basically saying he's the devil.
Wow.
Like
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. So cool. If he is brought into WandaVision, we're gonna have a field day.
Wow,
We're gonna do when the devil tries to test Jesus in the desert.
Yeah.
We're gonna go in.
Yikes, man.
So yeah, Mephisto is the person that, and there's actually, I don't know if it was photoshopped or anything, and I need to rewatch the episode. There was a screenshot that I saw where, let's go ahead and get into it. When at the end of the episode. Wanda and Vision are talking on the couch.
Yes.
And there's a knock at the door.
Yes, sir.
And Vision's like, oh, okay. And she's like, Wanda's like, I don't know who that is.
Right.
You don't believe me? I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
And so when she goes over to the door, there's supposedly a mirror shot, and you can see a hand like reaching for Wanda. I need to rewatch it.
Are you serious?
Yes, I need to rewatch it.
No.
To see if
that give me goosebumps.
Yeah, I need to see if that is real.
Whoa.
But I saw a screenshot of it, and I need to rewatch it to check. So none other, the person that's at the door is none other than her brother from the X-Men movies.
Yes.
Which, if you don't know, are owned by two different companies.
Yeah.
Well, not now. Not now. But the movies, when they came out, the X-Men movies were not a part of the Marvel Universe.
That's why there weren't any X-Men in the MCU.
I was watching with Krista, my wife. She finally started watching the show, and she likes it.
It's awesome.
And so at the end, she's like, who's that? I'm like, oh, like I had a freak out. I'm like, no way.
Yeah,
no way.
My reaction was like, literally like, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And then Vision, or someone says, they recast. Oh no, they.
Kat Dennings does.
Yeah, she's like they recast her brother
Pietro.
Pietro, who is Quicksilver. Which I love his version of Quicksilver in the X-Men.
I think
movies.
a lot of people do. I think out of all the new X-Men movies, Peter.
Yeah,
that's his name in the Fox X-Men franchise. He's one of the favorite characters. I mean, he's his action scenes are always amazing.
Oh, so good.
He's just got this like really like kind of chill attitude, and so he's that dude. You know what I mean?
I saw another meme, and it was like the old Pietro or whatever.
Yeah.
It said that Evan Peters, who is the guy from the X-Men movies, his Quicksilver saved like 30 mutants from an exploding house, a goldfish, and a dog, and the Quicksilver from Pietro, he got shot by a cop. Like that shows the power difference. That's
sad. I feel bad. I feel bad for Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah.
He's probably watching the show like, oh, I didn't get a call. Yeah, that's crazy. And again, which leads me to believe that it's not really Wanda. Because if it were Wanda, she would have she would have. I think she would have thought about it. Like she probably would have had it in her brain. Like, oh, this is what my brother looks like. And there's other theories out there that like this Pietro is actually not Peter from the X-Men franchise, and that it's
I hope so.
I hope so too, because that merges. But they're saying that it might just be someone from the town, and that they just so happen to obviously for shock factor they cast Evan Peters, whatever. I think because of the way the MCU is going forward and the way multiverses are coming in, I definitely do think it is Peter from the X-Men franchise, but they're looking at it from like a different angle, and they're going to explain it story-wise that like, well, this is how we're bringing in the X-Men universe here, and that gives me hope that like James McAvoy's coming back. Basically all the good that came out of the X-Men universe. Like I'm okay with like the X-Men that they brought back. That they brought in. Even
Magneto from that is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Like all those like the characters that they've already established.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of hoping that they retcon like, I don't know, they retcon like
Wanda,
Jean Grey, like I don't know. I'm okay with Sophie Turner.
Well, Magneto is Wanda and Pietro's dad in the comics.
Yeah, in the comics.
So somehow that could come into play.
That was also retconned.
In the comics?
In the comics.
Dang.
Isn't that crazy?
Dang.
They did like two parental switches.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, you're not mutants. But then like all of a sudden it's, he's their dad, and then they're like, oh wait, we are mutants. And then all of a sudden later on, I don't remember what it was, they were like, no, he's not your dad. So weird. It's super weird. But if they were to do that, I could imagine because in the X-Men movies, even I know Quicksilver thought about it. Like Quicksilver like revealed it to Mystique that like, oh yeah, that's my dad. But I don't think he knew that.
Yeah. Not right away.
Not right away.
When they first found him, he had no idea.
No.
He just knew he was quick.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, there's so much story-wise.
There's two different things they could do with it. And I love breaking down like stories and where they can go with it.
Me too, man.
So with this one, what a lot of people are saying, and what I think is very possible, is that Wanda with her powers, because we know that first off, her kids are going to live on in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, they're the Young Avengers.
Yeah, they're growing up. But I'm saying, like, we've seen things go in and come out and they're real.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why I think they're going to grow up into teenagers. They're going to become Wiccan, and Speed.
Yeah.
And then they're going to join the Young Avengers, which is being formed right now.
Yeah.
In the MCU, if you look at it.
I forgot another thing. In the comics, it happens. I think it's in House of M, or it's in a different one, because there's a couple different Wanda and Vision have kids type deal.
Yeah.
Mephisto makes her two kids
real.
Yes. Yeah. With like a part of him or something.
Like it's shards of Mephisto is like what they explained it as.
Which we've seen things that go into this world that then are turned into something else. So that would make sense as far as the kids becoming real if they have a part of Mephisto or something else.
Yeah.
Something else created them.
For sure.
But I don't know if she can create. I'm trying to think. Can she create something from nothing? That has left the world? I don't think that's happened.
I think her powers are literally like mind manipulation.
It is reality warping.
Yeah.
But it's not creation.
It's not creation. So
it hasn't been yet.
So I definitely think like something made Wanda pregnant. I think because what did she wasn't it Carol or Monica? Wasn't it Monica that said like, oh yeah, that stuff is real. Like what's happening to her is real.
Yeah, because it's reality manipulation because when she comes back out, when she went into the world, Monica, she had a bulletproof vest on.
That's right.
And then when she comes back out, they test her wardrobe that she had, and it was made out of Kevlar.
Right.
So she made that. Plus, you also see that with the beekeeper when, or the space or whatever, the guy that has the suit on and he goes in and becomes a beekeeper.
Right.
He had that rope on him.
That's right.
And it turns into like a kid's jump rope.
Yeah.
So you see all these different things where they go in as something and then come out as something, except for the thing from the 80s, the drone from the 80s did not change because it was in that time period.
Yeah, it was in that time period, yeah.
Which is
Makes sense.
Interesting, though.
Yeah, it's interesting. And that's I do think that like once this is all done and they leave the world, quote unquote, that the boys will come out. I don't know if Vision's going to survive this show. I really don't.
I think he does.
I hope that's what I want. I definitely want Vision to survive this show, but like I think it would make more of an impact story-wise if he didn't. And but in the comic books, he forgets all about his life with Wanda anyway.
Yeah.
So like that would be interesting if he does survive,
Yeah.
but then he reverts back to being sort of like the new Vision,
Yeah.
that you found in Age of Ultron. But man, I'm excited about Tommy and Billy because because I'm looking towards the Young Avengers storyline of how they're pushing forth these kids, and it sounds like to me that the Avengers that are out right now, like especially when it comes to like Black Panther, let's talk about it, like Chadwick Boseman not around, right? And I don't know what they're doing, Benedict Cumberbatch like doing this multiverse thing, and it sounds like to me that like something's going to happen with the adult Avengers.
Yeah.
And the young Avengers are going to have to step in for like a second.
Well, things kind of already have. I mean, you've already had a couple of the biggest Avengers gone. Like they're not coming back.
It's true. They're not on planet. Some of them are not even on the planet. Like,
well, I'm saying like in Endgame.
Oh, just in general. Yeah.
Iron Man's dead.
You're right.
Captain America is done. Like he's aged
old.
out. Yeah.
Still handsome though.
He's done.
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to start a new thing, which of course Marvel is. They're always.
I love it.
Yeah, they're always thinking ahead.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm curious to see where WandaVision goes.
Yeah.
Because I really don't know.
Do you think that Wanda's going to be a villain in Multiverse of Madness because she's cast in it? And apparently like she's already filmed some stuff.
I don't think she's going to be a villain. I think
so?
No, I think somebody is. I think she has. What I really think is happening, and this is just a total guess. I have no idea. I haven't read like spoiler pages or anything like that.
On.
I think that Mephisto. She sold her soul to Mephisto.
I agree with that.
So that she could have this world.
Yeah.
And that's really why she doesn't want to leave that, and because.
Yeah.
This is where she's happy. She still has Vision. She has her kids.
Oh,
and
that's trauma
she
for you,
doesn't. Do you think that she knows that people are in pain?
Yeah. I think she's starting to.
I think she is starting to, but I don't think she's known up to this point.
I don't think so either. I think she started to know. I think something awoke in her after she pushed Monica out. Yeah. I think something actually woke up inside of her.
Yeah.
And that's why she saw Vision as the broken Vision, and then she like reverted back to it because she's like, oh, I have an awareness now. Because even she had an awareness of Agnes, like oh, like I'll just do magic right here, and Vision was like, what are you doing? You just did that right in front of her. She's like, she doesn't even recognize our kids growing up.
Yeah.
So she knows that something's going on. She's 100% aware, and so is Vision now.
I'm really curious to find out who Agnes is.
Dude, I know. That's a huge mystery.
That might be what I am most curious about.
Yeah, me too.
What is Agnes?
Who
is Agnes? Yeah, what's her deal?
She's so funny. What's her name? Catherine Hahn? Is that what her actress name is?
I have it right here. Yeah, Catherine Hahn.
Oh, she's so funny.
She is.
I love her.
She's great.
And also, can I just say that I love the trio of Monica, Jimmy Woo, and I forget Kat Dennings' name. That's why I keep calling her Kat Dennings.
Darcy.
Yeah. Gosh, from Thor. But I just love that like these are characters that like were side characters in others' respective films, and now they're like they have this like huge role. I love that.
Well, I mean, the first two Thors are.
Man.
They really are.
Yeah.
I fell asleep a couple times trying to watch them.
I understood.
Although Ragnarok was. When I first saw Ragnarok, I was like, oh, they're going too far with the comedy. Then I watched it a couple more times. I'm like, this is one of my favorite Marvel movies.
I think that they finally were like. I think the reason why Thor is surviving, it was Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America, right? Mm-hmm. These are the two already had successful franchises.
Yeah.
I think the reason why they're doing a Thor, continuing on with Thor, is because they're like,
he's so funny.
Ragnarok was that's the first Thor.
Well, because it's because who plays Thor, dude? Why can't it?
Chris
Hemsworth. Yes, he's getting to do something different. So in 1 and 2, he's just like this. I mean, he had a couple like funny lines when he's fighting orcs and whatnot, elves and whatever. But now he's getting to play this. He is hilarious. Yeah. So he's getting to play this funny role, and that's different. Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, why not? Let's keep doing it.
I also really love Fat Thor. It was pretty funny. I want him to stay that way. Like I obviously we all love the powerful like man sculpture that is comic book Thor, but like the other Thor, like that Fat Thor is like awesome.
Can we talk about? Do we think that in Love and Thunder they're going to take any of Donny Cates' Thor into, because he's already in charge of or is he? Yeah, he's the All Father or High Father or whatever. It's
no, he's not. I don't think he is. I don't think that. Oh,
he put someone else in charge.
Yeah, it's Valkyrie. So Valkyrie's the queen. I don't know about the All Father, but like,
I think he has his dad's power. Plus, he also at the end of Ragnarok and at the end of Infinity War, he really started to like level up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Give me Galactus versus Thor, and just let him wreck shop.
Hey, once you start to see Reed Richards in the MCU, then we know Galactus isn't too far away.
Yeah.
But I think in Love and Thunder, I think they're definitely gonna. It sounds like to me.
Oh, we already know who the Gore the God Butcher is.
Yeah, Gore the God Butcher with Chris Bale.
Which I need to read. I need to read those old ones because I've heard the Gore the God Butcher stuff, which I think
is pretty good.
Is he the so the first sighting of Null is from a Thor, the Mighty Thor comic, when they're like fighting, coming down. I think it was maybe not. I
don't remember that.
I don't know.
I don't remember that. But
they reference it when you get caught up in King in Black. They they reference back to when Null first came.
Okay, that's cool.
So yeah,
that's cool. That's I love how comic books do that. But yeah, Love and Thunder. I mean, did you see that press conference when Natalie Portman came out for Love and Thunder, and then Taika Waititi he like gave her Thor's hammer. So I mean, obviously they're doing Jane Foster Thor.
Yeah.
They're gonna do it, and I really believe because it's Gore the God Butcher. If you've read the comic books, what happens is
don't spoil it for me.
Do you not know?
No, wait, maybe I don't know.
I think you do.
No, I don't. I don't think I do. I don't care. Spoil it for me. I'm gonna still read it.
Okay.
I'm gonna still read it.
No, it's okay.
I'll still read it.
So there's no spoiler. The spoiler is that they go through Thor's timeline, young Thor, current Thor, and then Thor the Allfather. The three of them, right? So that's 3 Thors.
Yeah.
And so I think there's going to be 3 Thors in Love and Thunder. I think there's going to be Thor, Jane Foster Thor, and then there's rumor that, gosh, what's his name? Oh, the original owner of Stormbreaker. Oh my gosh, what's his name?
Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Ray.
Dude, that would be sick. That would be sweet.
Yeah, man. So hopefully, I mean, I don't know.
Which in the comics now, he's in charge of.
He is.
He is in charge of.
You're right.
Whatever it's called.
He's like, well, he's as the Asgardian. Like,
Asgard. Yes.
Yeah. But so that's gonna be a great movie, man. There's so many Marvel properties coming out. One being Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Do you want to watch that trailer real quick before we head out?
Yeah, let's watch it.
Let's watch it.
So, who would like to start? Mr. Barnes, why does Sam aggravate you?
15 seconds to drop. So what's our plan?
Anthony Mackie needs to stay Falcon. He's not Captain America.
You don't think so?
No. I also
Superheroes cannot be allowed to exist.
Captain America was a super soldier.
I have no intention to leave
Falcon's
my
not a
work
super soldier.
unfinished.
It's true.
So do you know who the villain is?
I don't.
World's upside down right now.
I think it's the guy that was from the earlier.
Oh,
Captain America.
it is. Oh, it is. It is. You're right. It's Baron Zemo.
Yes.
I thought you were asking about that little girl with the mask.
No, she's probably just.
What is it?
Yeah, Sharon Carter.
Oh yeah,
I love her.
Agent Carter's daughter.
Yeah. Granddaughter in the MCU. I guess.
Oh yeah. True. He just, dude, I love the way that they use him as Falcon.
Me too. His action scenes are so good.
Hello, girl, kick your ass.
I love that last part.
I love that they're playing on their real life interaction. Like
Yeah.
like those two actors. If you see them in interviews, like that's how they are.
That wasn't so hard.
How they're sitting. See how they were sitting?
Yeah.
Their legs were intertwined.
Are you having a staring contest?
It's therapy.
Just blink. Sweet Jesus. I mean, how old are you?
Yeah, I am excited for that. Dude, I say I'm not excited. I will watch every episode of that. That's just how I am. I'm like,
Me too.
Man, I don't know if I'm gonna
right?
watch this, and then I watch every episode.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what better do I have to do?
Listen,
I'm gonna watch the shows.
Especially like Marvel, those kind of shows. Because
Yeah.
you know it's not just it's like
Ties in.
8 hour long movies. That's
Yeah,
all
it
they
also
are.
ties in.
Yeah.
That's the thing that Marvel has done better than anyone else.
Yeah.
Is that everything ties into everything.
Yeah.
So that's
So
why
good.
WandaVision's so important, because we already know that it's going to tie in to Multiverse of Madness
You got
for
it.
Doctor Strange.
You got it, and other things. So, anyway, that's a great trailer. Great conversation, man.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
been fun.
Yeah. So next week we'll do some more nerdy stuff, and thank you guys so much. Again, my name is Alan,
I'm Jake.
and thanks for listening to POW PALS. See you later.
Bye bye.